All right, welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 228 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson
Hey, what's going on?
and Everett.
Hey, what's up?
This week, the team reviews Eternals. I'm going to explain our rating system. On this show, we give the titles that we have watched a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love or recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. Now on to our synopsis. The Eternals, a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have secretly lived on Earth for thousands of years, reunite to battle the evil Deviants. Good synopsis. Emerson, do you want to go first with your review?
Sure. So I'm gonna give this. It's difficult. A loss or a draw. I'm gonna give it a loss. I think that there are a lot of potentially very interesting things they tried to do in this movie. I think that there are a lot of like cool little tidbits if you described them like to me. I would say, oh, that sounds interesting, that sounds cool. But this movie is far longer than it needs to be. It has odd dialogue at a lot of points. It's very disjointed in the way it's structured. It makes some weird choices with scenes and pacing and, as I said, writing that make me like, I would not want to watch this again. I would go back and watch certain scenes of this, but I wouldn't go back and watch this again. At the same time, too, I feel like a lot of this movie is just trying to set up plot points for other movies, like very specific things, which that can be interesting. But in this, it felt very much like this movie isn't really about what's happening now. It's about the four movies that are going to come after this and what those are going to spawn. As I said, I didn't, I don't know, maybe it's closer to a draw because I think it's better than Shang-Chi, but it has a lot of the same issues in the sense of like the story kind of meanders at places and like they're incessant need of like, and now there's a joke, and now there's a joke, and now there's a joke. Gets very old. So you know what? I'll change it to a draw, but I think everything I said still stands.
Everett?
I'm going to give it a draw as well. Emerson had a lot of good points. There were a lot of things in this movie that piqued my interest. Like, I really like the concept of the Celestials. And, you know, like, I'd like to know more about what the Eternals are. But my main issue with this film is, it's an issue I brought up with a lot of other comic book-based films, is that I hate it when they rewrite the rules or they retcon stuff or they take rules and placements that they've already established in earlier movies and then they just throw them out the window in favor of plot convenience. This movie does a lot of that. There's a lot of weirdly placed characters, some of which I think were entirely pointless, but I'll get into that in spoilers. But I liked the score. I thought Ramin Djawadi, or however you pronounce his last name, I think he did a good job. The acting overall, it wasn't terrible. I will say though, of all the Disney movies and Marvel movies that we've gotten this year, I'm surprised that this is the one that everyone's deciding is horrible. Because I think it's way better than Shang-Chi. I think it's way better than Black Widow. Debatably better than WandaVision. Definitely better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think it's about on par with Loki. Maybe Loki's maybe a little bit better. But yeah, I'm going to give it a draw.
Okay, I give this a hard win. I
Interesting.
think it was fantastic. I disagree with you guys on pretty much every single thing you said, like overall. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know where to start. I disagree with so much. Obviously,
Really?
it's better than Shang-Chi. Obviously, it's better than Black Widow. It actually tried to tell a story. A character cried because of like dilemmas and consequences, and not because some alien like kicked it in the crotch, and then he was like, "Oh, like come on, how can you, come on?" Like all that shit. Of course, this stands way above any of that generic Marvel shit. Emerson, you said they were forcing humor in. I don't win.
Well, so a lot of Kingo's stuff, a lot of like, oh, the pie's falling now that he was told about, blah, blah, blah,
That's not.
dying.
That is not the same thing as like crammed in one-liners.
It seemed to me like it would be like, okay, beat, 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 funny scene, beat, 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 funny scene. Like that is what it seemed like was
But there's
going.
not something inherently wrong with that. The problem is when everything is like that, which is what all like Black Widow, Shang-Chi, everything is just undermined to be a joke every single second. This
Mhm.
movie went long stretches and it needs a little humor for levity. You see that even in The Dark Knight. This has a little bit of a lighter tone, but this movie's pretty serious and it takes itself seriously. It doesn't, it's not like, I mean, when they fight, all right, let's go into spoilers. When they fight in the jungle, that was
I like
the
that scene.
last, yeah, but think about how long before that was the previous action scene. That's a long time. The movie is mostly talking. That's where you're getting the negative reviews. Is because people can't handle like they want the formulaic generic shit and it's not like that. So they're
Mhm.
like, what is this? But they like if this was like the other Marvel movies, you would have had like 3 action sequences in between the time that they fought in London and they fought in the jungle. And I don't even remember. Were there any in between?
Not really.
It was
Flashback
it
action
was
sequences.
dialogue and even the flashbacks, they weren't like about the action. It wasn't like superhero shit. Like, oh, let's have them fight someone in a subway, and let's have the subway like split into two, and then let's have a crash down the street, and
See,
then 30 minutes later, there's another
I
scene.
don't disagree with what you're saying. And like, I do agree with what you're saying, where it's like, this is an odd movie for them to hate. I think my primary issue, and I touched this, is like, I do feel like this is setting up like 3, 4, or 5 different movies. And something about that is like,
But it didn't really
oh,
do that till the very end.
well, no, because they're like, yeah, but like, okay, now there's going to have to be like a movie following the Eternals that left the planet.
But
There's going
that's
to
at
have
the
to,
end.
there's going to have to be a movie following the Eternals that stayed and got kidnapped by what's his name.
That's
There's going to
also at
have
the
to
end.
be a Black Knight movie.
Also
There's
at
going
the
to
end.
be Blade.
At the end.
Yeah, I know, but like, it's like, okay, what did what's his name's character actually add? Kid Harrington. What did he add?
Yeah, I don't think that he should have had the part at the end. The end, they do that shit, and it almost feels like the studio came in and said like, we need this because it feels tonally much different than the rest of the film. But all that's at the end. When you're sitting there for 2.5 hours, it's like 2 hours and 37 minutes. For 2
Mhm.
hours and 30 minutes, it's not setting up the next movie. It barely even references any other movie.
That's true.
So I mean that I don't think you knock it for that. I think maybe you go like, gee, I wish they weren't like forcing it in the last 5 minutes because
That's
that was
fair.
stupid. Um, but yeah, let's talk about Kit Harington. So I like that he was sort of the fridged like girlfriend role. And
Yeah.
I thought that she would maybe develop a little further with Icarus, but it's okay because it depends on whether or not they were gonna live. That's why. So
Mhm.
if she's gonna live and go back to him, then you're gonna have to make him break up. Otherwise, the guy's a loser who just like will take the girl no matter what she does. So they would have to break up at the end. That wouldn't be a terrible way to go. Um, what they did do was like okay. It's just weird to me how he like wants to talk about his family history right there in the park. It's weird.
That he's the Black Knight.
But Ever, you said the acting wasn't terrible.
I
It
mean,
was pretty damn good.
the people they cast were okay. I mean, my issues with the movie are more have to do with the monster thing. What are they called? The Deviants.
They grew on
Specifically,
me.
like the one like sentient deviant. That's my one major issue with it.
Why?
Well, first of all, I'll mention I had in my notes that this film was really oddly violent. Like they had people getting
Good.
ripped apart.
Good.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, but I don't know. Like I felt like at least in the trailers, they kind of hyped up that one deviant that kept getting more sentient to be like the bigger villain. But
Yeah, it was a catch-20. They were trying to divert your attention
yeah,
from
I
Icarus.
get that, and I think they did that really well. But I don't know.
Well,
I
what's
feel
wrong
like
with that?
I don't. Maybe I kind of felt like I got shafted. Like I wanted to know more about them because they set
I
up
didn't care about the Deviants at all.
they set up a good precedent saying like we are both children of the Celestials. You are basically what we are from a different perspective. And I kind of wanted them to explore that a little bit, but then he just died. Like
Well, I thought like the
he got
thing
like
is
two scenes.
I thought there was a chance that they might keep him alive. But the problem with that is he's a CGI character and he's not that interesting. So he really does need to die. He served his purpose. They're big monsters. They attack. There's a threat. I get it that he is a little undercooked, especially since he seems to be stealing their powers. So you almost think that the movie would be about that, but it's not. Like I thought that he self heals, but then does he killed Gilgamesh? So is he like extra strong? We didn't really see him be extra strong.
Well, he was using those like gauntlets.
Yeah,
that
he was using like the
Gilgamesh
power
used.
moves.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it didn't seem like a significant thing. But so what? But he needed to die. Would you guys want to see him again?
No, I don't want to see him again.
Maybe like more down the line, because in terms of villains, he like just got sentience. This is like stage 1. I'd like to see him at stage 5, a little bit more evolved, maybe using those powers to a bigger degree.
He reminded me kind of like Ultron.
Really?
His design, the way his face looked was
That, and
little-
also the way he's like building himself, but ultimately I think that's what you would have ended up with. Like in a sequel, if he continues, you're gonna end up with a guy who's like, I'm so powerful, haha. Like
I didn't like him. See, here's the thing, because I don't agree with anything, or I don't disagree with anything you've really said about the movie. Like, I do agree with a lot of things. I think my primary issue is also like the celestial stuff. I just don't fully, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
They
Like the
retconned a lot of stuff to make that possible.
I'm not saying what it would have been or
Retconned
wouldn't
what?
have been would be better.
what did they
I'll-
retcon?
maybe retcon's the wrong term. They expanded
Immediately
upon it.
backpedals.
Okay, fine. You want to stick with the word retcon? Fine.
Just tell me what they retcon.
They very specifically said that the history of the universe started with the Infinity Stones. The Big Bang popped, and that was how the universe was created. But now they're saying Celestials were there the whole time, and you don't really hear about them or see them the entire
Well,
time. In any of the
Celestials
other
snapped.
Cosmo movies you see.
Did half of them go away?
But doesn't, so the thing is, like, what was the catalyst to make that happen? You need a catalyst. And I always assumed that there was like something there that caused the stones to be created and split. Somebody did something. Is that too much of a stretch to
It's not too much of a stretch, but
I'm saying I thought that before the movie, before I knew anything about these Celestials.
I mean, I was happy in believing that like the Big Bang popped, and from that massive amount of energy, you created the Infinity Stones. That's like the top tier of power in the
But
universe.
what was the catalyst?
Well, I mean, I don't know. What's the catalyst for the Big Bang in the real world?
Don't we know? Don't we know something about that?
I have no idea.
I don't think I think it
You
just
see.
exploded into existence one day.
Well, we may
I
not
could
know,
be-
but there has to be a catalyst.
You'd think.
Every speck of its energy in the universe jammed into a very tiny point. The extremely dense point exploded with unimaginable force. So it sounded like it kept growing in a tiny space.
Hmm.
That's what they think. But that sounds like very theoretical. Like,
Well, but irregardless of that, like what I don't know about retcons. Like I don't care as much. Although I was curious, like were the Celestials snapped? Did half of them disappear? Like because sentient life, they're sentient. Like I don't know, maybe not.
well, are they in our universe though?
I mean, yeah, you see one at the end. You see two
Yeah,
of them
but
at the end.
he visited, like he showed up, right? He doesn't
like,
live there.
the Eternals aren't like thrown through. The Eternals are from our universe.
Mhm.
Right. But they're synthetic.
Right, but he has like a world forge.
They're
That's
not.
probably.
I don't think
in
they're
our universe.
synthetic. They're
Right, but is
they're
that
the
in our
world
universe?
shapers.
I
Where
think
does
so.
where does that exist?
Well, they never said they weren't in our universe.
I don't think
in
it's
Newton.
around, like, I don't think he's circling Jupiter or
No.
something.
That's like ours, but he'd be like galaxies away, but he'd still be in our universe.
I maybe it's different.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a difference
true.
between all the Celestials. At least they explain how it works with these specific Celestials. But you've seen other Celestials on screen. You've seen Aeon the Searcher in
What
Guardians of the
I'm-
Galaxy. You saw
what I'm-
That's a
Ego.
good question. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Do they get snapped? Because they are organic. The movie tells us that.
Yeah, and so like what my other question would be is like I just think it was a very big thing to be like, okay, these things exist. Like that's just such a leap in power and scale and like Iron Man and Captain America, like
But
they
we've seen
could,
them before.
yeah, but they were a little different when we saw them before in Guardians of the Galaxy. When one was like
I mean, they were
walking,
smaller, but
they were smaller, and it was almost like, okay, this is
maybe.
like a strong thing, but it's like relative. This is like a god that teleports through time and space and like is
Well,
like,
he's a prime celestial. That's what they called it, right?
yeah, but like it's just the level of power, and they blow up worlds to be born, and like Iron Man and Captain America, we've gone so far from like it just, to me it was like almost like whiplash of like, this is, and we talk about like Captain Marvel and like how like the power levels keep going up, and I actually think in terms of like the Eternals, their power level was fine because like they
Well, some
seemed,
of them are pretty worthless.
exactly.
Yeah,
And some of
them.
them are like, but even like Icarus, who's like super strong, he didn't strike me like, he wasn't like Captain Marvel times 3.
He was basically like Superman without the invulnerability.
But which
But
is how Superman should be. But
Yeah.
but like Celestials, that was just, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and like how does this now, like are Captain Marvel and Hulk gonna fight a Celestial? Like,
I had a thought about that actually. I kind of wondered if they're gonna, in order to keep the Eternals like sort of centralized with that plot with the Celestials, I kind of wonder if they go down the Galactus route, if they just make him a Celestial, and they just
well, at the end, I was like, wait, are they pretending this guy's Galactus for a second? I wasn't sure, but I know Galactus just wants to eat planets, right?
that's how he lives. Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, it can't be him because he's. I mean, I know the name's different, but Galactus never was like, I'm judging if I should eat you or not. But from the comics, there is a precedent of Celestials judging planets. That does exist in the comics.
I didn't know.
I don't remember.
But as I was saying, I liked a lot of it, and I'm trying to figure out what I disliked strongly from it. And
I liked
think,
almost everything, but like the very end.
I think it was the ending I didn't like, but I think the Celestials and like what their role is gonna be, like maybe in a movie or two I'll look back on this more fondly. But I don't really want to see like a ton of Celestial stuff, to be quite honest with you.
It had an interesting ending, I'd say. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a superhero fly into the sun like that.
Yeah, is he killing himself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he killed himself.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's talk for a second on. Let's talk about Icarus and like being like Superman. Wasn't he a lot more interesting than Superman?
Yes,
Well,
but
he had
that's
more
also because
stakes
his
with it.
backstory, I think.
I
too.
mean in terms of the action sequences.
Yes.
Because yeah, Superman is strong and all that and invincible, but when Icarus can be killed, it's fun to watch him like get his ass beat and come back.
Yes,
Because
I
he
agree.
hits hard, but
I
he can
agree.
get hit hard.
Yes.
Superman doesn't have that. And that's why it's so boring. Everything has to be like weaken him, take away his powers, or like make someone as strong as him.
Yeah.
Or make him evil.
Right.
Out of all of them, Icarus basically gets disabled by the guy who's good with technology. And I like that.
So let me break down the things that I didn't like. At first, the movie just starts. Like it's kind of weird. Like the promo ended for, Nicole Kidman's stupid shit. And then it immediately just starts the film. Like
Yeah.
the
With
that,
the Star
that wall of
Wars skull.
text. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that's an interesting choice. And then it's going kind of fast. Now I can read fast, but I know from being a teacher that most people, and I'm not talking about students, I'm talking about most people can barely read. And I'm not like, I'm just being honest. Most people can't read that fast. And I'm like, so is this because the movie has no time that they have to run it faster? Is this what it is? Like it's so packed with crap that they're actually trying to save seconds on the scroll. Then I forget exactly how it started. I think it was an action sequence, right?
It's no. It's them in the spaceship.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like they all like get armored up, and then it flashes to the planet, the Deviants, them landing.
So I didn't mind them like. I had a lot of questions about what the hell they were and what they were doing, which eventually did get answered. So I don't hold that against the movie. At first, I didn't like them because I'm like, I know they're super powerful, and I hate that they exist. Like that's how I felt. The movie won me over. But one part that really kind of annoyed me was well, I liked so Sprite is in London and is pretending to be an older person, and then she gets caught or whatever, and I was like, oh, okay. Because normally in these bullshit movies, they'll try to make the kid like some assassin who is so cool and badass and talks like an adult. And I'm like, oh, so they're like acknowledging the fact that it's a child. One problem I still have is, why is she a child?
They
How is
didn't
that
really
supposed to work?
answer that.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's a plot hole, but it does kind of annoy me because it it would cause a lot of problems if they're supposed to assimilate into the culture and she never ages. Like, you have to consider that. So either make them all adults so that no one really cares. If you're going to make a child, they have to age. So that to me is like a weird thing. Is she a child in the comics?
I don't think I know anything about this
Yeah.
the Eternals.
Makari is gender swapped, I learned. Um, so then they're doing this thing where they're like they leave the bar.
Yeah,
this is
and Dane Whitman's like, "Oh yeah, I already know like everything," and he's just like rattling off information.
well, I thought that was interesting. I'm like, so are they really trying to tell it to us this way? Because if they're telling it to us like right up front, then that means that the movie will be about forward plot instead of like retroactive, which is like what Shang-Chi was. Shang-Chi was all about like, here's what I am. Let's go back and like deal with every single piece of how I got here. And then at the end, I'm a complete person who hasn't really like now he's actually Shang-Chi, you know? But I'm like, so they're like straight up Eternals and they're telling us their backstory. That means that the plot is going to take center stage and not like what they are or like the origin. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I was interested in that. But what kind of gave me a scare was as they're walking away, Dane Whitman, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Dane Whitman is like 10 feet in front of Cersei and Sprite.
Yes. And they're talking, and he like
And
doesn't
they're
hear them.
talking, and I'm thinking, so do they have him 10 feet in front because they couldn't figure out how to write the scene where he like wasn't a part of the conversation because they need to have the conversation, but he's still with them for some reason. He keeps looking back. And then at one point he turns around and yells if they want pizza from like 10 feet away. I'm like, are you there or not? Like, what happened here? So then I'm thinking this is going to be one of those movies where they're like whatever idea. It's like I forget which one movie was a perfect example of them just getting from point A to B nonsensically. It's like, so we need Sprite and Cersei to have this conversation. We need Dane Whitman to be there so that he can get rescued later. But we don't know how to make them all work in that way. So we're just going to have them there and be 10 feet apart. And so that we're just going to go, go, go. I forgot. There was one movie that was like really guilty of that type of storytelling. So I was definitely at that point, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long 2.5 hours. Surprisingly, after that, aside from the Deviants being kind of like shitty, like I don't really care about them. Like I remember the Deviant came out of the water and barked at the dog barked at him, and I was like, why isn't he attacking?
At first, I didn't understand that, and then I kind of took it as like, oh, he only wants to eat the Eternals, because like there's that scene later where he's like ignoring the humans to try to kill them.
Right, and then they tell us that.
Yeah.
Remember my original pitch for this movie when I said what we were predicting what
That
it
they
would
were
be?
going to be like repeated, like they're titles that get handed down.
Something like that, and that the plot of the movie was going to be something was hunting them.
Mhm.
Right? Now that's not a genius thing. I'm glad they did that because when you read that leak, you kind of left that part out of it, Emerson.
Well, that leak didn't have it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like it wasn't in the leak. So I'm glad that they had the sense to come up with that because if you have something that's immortal, then the biggest threat to it would be something that could end its immortality. So like that is like obvious, like basic. So when you read that leak, I'm like, these fucking idiots don't know how to tell a basic story.
It's interesting because the leak was 100% accurate, but it's like
It left
bare
that part out.
bones. Like,
Yeah, because
they left out some details.
right, because it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of what's going on. And like we said, Everett, it's a little undercooked because the what is the thing called the monster? What was that
the
called?
Deviants.
Yeah.
Just the Deviant.
The Deviants. His whole thing about I'm hunting them never really came to fruition because the other plot took over.
And
And
he
you could
just kind of
argue
shows
about
up at the end.
he does just show up, yeah. You could argue about which one is better. I mean, they do say he's tailing us or whatever, but I think Thena says it. You could argue about which one is better. But talking about endings, I think that you could have gone either way. Like I did not expect them to like what was the guy's name?
Tiamat.
Tiamat?
I'm
I didn't
pretty
Is that
sure.
the
expect
Celestial?
Tiamat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Tiamat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's confirm.
I didn't
this, yes.
expect him to like unite them with the power. So because at first I was like, wait, I thought they weren't wearing the bracelets. I was really confused. Like how Icarus
So
and
was I.
Sprite.
Yeah.
But it was the Celestial that hooked them together. The Unimind thing is actually from the comics. And it's more of like a common thing. Like they know how to do it. It's one of the things that they do is they put their powers together and one person like fights or something. So by the way, the comic run is very short. It got canceled pretty quick, which is interesting that it's a full blockbuster. So I was thinking that they were all going to end up dead. Like I was thinking they would fight each other one by one. They die. Like why wasn't Druig dead?
I like Druig. I like
That's the
his
guy that
character.
mind controls people, right?
Yeah, I was expecting him to die after Icarus like shot him to shit.
He kind of, I don't know, that kind of tipped me off. Like he's dead. He's gone. Like you just saw him go into the ground. You don't even see the death on screen.
Right, and that's why I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, so he's probably not dead. But what does that mean that Icarus shot him? Does Icarus not hurt
Apparently
people?
nothing.
Yeah, I mean that was, and to be fair, he didn't really show up again until the end of the battle, so it didn't take away because I'm still like he could still kill people. I don't know, but yeah, he actually seems like he can not kill. He couldn't. He didn't do anything to him, right? It seemed like when he showed up, he was kind of like holding his ribs, like like he
kinda
got
hurt.
tickled too hard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He only he hit Sprite in the back of the head. That's the only thing he did the whole battle.
So that part I'm not okay with. But what I was thinking is Icarus would have killed a lot of them. They would have died trying to stop him, and then Cersei has to sacrifice herself in order to. What did she turn him to stone? What did she
Yeah.
do?
It turns him to marble.
Marble. So she would have had to sacrifice herself to do that. Now, they say that she's not powerful enough without the Eternals, but she's wearing the bracelet, which stops them from regenerating. That's the other thing. I thought they were going to be more vulnerable.
Yeah.
But they were saving that energy. They were going to have an additional energy within them. So I was thinking that the Celestial could have given her the last boost that she needed. Like she could do it, but she was too slow. And then when he connects with her, it like overcharges her and actually dooms him. And she dies too,
Mhm.
like from overcharge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's not regenerating. It's like too much. She's
But
not
instead,
using it.
like pretty much all of them live.
Yeah, well, let me ask you what you think about that. So, had they all died, to me that would have been one badass fucking movie.
It would have been, and I think I would have liked it more because the big issues that I'm basically boiling it down to here are the Celestial stuff I find odd and like whiplashy. And as I get more used to them, that could go away, or if they do something I like more. And two, the fact that the end of the movie is literally, and now we're going to set up 4 new movies. Like, and if they'd all died, you don't have that. And it becomes a more definitive story about the heroes that no one ever knew and or will know who all died to save the world.
And I mean, that would have been a fucking badass movie. Think about that. Like, they saved the world and they all died. And all you'd have was Dane Whitman at the end who knew, like, what the hell was going on. And I guess maybe the husband or something.
Mm.
I thought that it was, anyway, in my head, that's what happened. Because what actually happened felt like the studio, like Marvel going back to Marvel. Up until that point, I was very into the movie. I'm like, they're doing some interesting storytelling here. But let's talk more about the ending. So Gemma Chan, who do you guys remember? She was in Captain Marvel.
No.
As who?
She's the girl with the green skin. One of the squad. that
Oh yeah,
becomes-
yeah.
I don't like when they recast. Like when I first heard that she was going to be in this, I was like, I don't like that. But
I don't remember her.
But that movie, like Captain Marvel, like I've been rewatching the MCU movies. I skipped that one. It's
Yeah.
so bad. It doesn't exist. It doesn't need to exist. It's just so stupid all around. So yeah. Anyway, I don't care that she's in that one anymore. But I think her name was Minerva or something.
Probably.
But so she's alive. Now, here's the other thing that I was expecting to happen. The Deviants evolved, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So he created something that would not evolve to kill them.
Yes.
Mhm.
The Eternals.
But Cersei evolved.
Well, it seems like she did. They didn't really explain what.
That's
that
what I was waiting for, the like, we are people. Look, we evolve.
I thought it was gonna be that like her becoming the Prime Eternal has now given her like additional stuff.
Let's see, where
But-
did Cersei get the power
to like make the tree.
to change organics? It's not coming up. Everything is
It's too new.
like science stuff. So that could be considered a plot hole. I don't know how she did that. Obviously, it's a huge plot point that she can. And then I'm thinking, you specifically said they don't evolve, and here they are evolved. So that means they're going down the route of like, they can be humans. Like they have feelings and they can live and breathe and I don't know, whatever the fuck. But that didn't happen. So anyway, she can bend organics now. And then she says that she can't turn him into a giraffe, but she could, right?
I
I
think
mean,
she could.
turned Sprite into a human, so
Why did she say she can't turn him into a giraffe?
I don't know. Because like maybe she doesn't fully have her powers.
It's weird. The very end of the movie just gets like all over the place.
Yeah, and like let's just break it down for a moment. Like what happens? So you get Druig, Thena,
Druig,
and
Mer something. Makari? Yeah, Makari.
yeah, Makari. They go with the ship to go find the other Eternals.
Well, here's the
Mhm.
thing. Don't you think that Thena should have died?
I thought she was
Well-
gonna die.
See, I really like that scene when she's going up against Icarus and he's like, "You can't beat me," and she's like, "But I've always wanted to try," or whatever. I like that scene.
It is a little weird though. Like she wanted to fight him many
I mean,
times.
she's like the fighter, like she's the other fighter person. Like it
They,
would
they
make
had
sense.
another line like that though when whatever the Festus, the technology guy, I forget his name, when he's fighting Icarus, he's like, I've always wanted to like cut off your clip your wings or something like.
And
yeah,
I guess that thing was draining his energy or something. I don't know.
yeah. I
um,
didn't understand.
But but like with Thena also, like she still would like go nuts every so often, right? Like they didn't cure that, did they? So like
That-
her going
yeah.
on the ship.
So when yeah, exactly. So number one, you think that she's like short circuiting. You would expect that to be a problem in the third act, or they clear it in the second act. Like they fix her. Jade was under the impression that killing the deviant somehow cured her,
I
but the movie did not
no.
do that. I didn't see that. So then now that she's still short circuits, basically this has a time limit on, like she needs to die pretty quickly.
Yes.
The only person that could kill her is gone. So it seems very clear for her to make the sacrifice play and die in the third act.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen, and then they put her on a ship with them, and those two cannot like.
Fight.
Yeah,
So.
they can't do it. So I don't know. That's
And
again,
then
what the fuck.
fucking Star Fox, who's also an Eternal and Thanos' brother.
So
shows
yeah,
up.
yeah. Let's talk
Yeah.
about this post credit sequence because I hated every second.
Yeah,
Good
I
old
agree.
Harry Styles.
First, I'm like, wait, Thena's on the ship. Like, how does that work? Then that CGI, whatever the fuck,
Dwarf
The
troll.
Gremlin,
it was really bad. Who voiced
Yeah.
them?
Patton Oswald.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was awful. That was really bad.
Yeah.
It almost makes you think, was it like a last minute idea because the CGI was not up to quality.
But So I agree with everything you just said, but for me, the biggest thing is he's an Eternal and he's Thanos' brother. How the fuck does that work?
Does that
So
imply that Thanos was an Eternal?
in the comics, he is.
He's a deviant in the comics.
Technically, that makes him an Eternal in the comics.
Yeah.
He had a deviant mutation, a recessive gene or something.
That's what
But
made him like all purpley and stuff.
But in the comics, the Eternals are organic living beings. They're not robots. That is the movie thing.
Everything Star Fox says makes no sense.
No, I know. So I'm just saying they are. He's an Eternal in the comics, and he's an Eternal in this, but it doesn't make any sense because they're synthetic beings. So when he says he's an Eternal, the fuck does that mean? Like he's clearly not a robot, right? Especially if he's Thanos' brother, and he wouldn't be sent to that planet for the same purpose. So, and then he comes out, and I got to say, like, okay, I don't care about Harry Styles, but he was okay in Dunkirk, I suppose. But more, like, how is he Thanos' brother?
I don't know. They
Are
don't
all
even
the
look
Titans,
alike.
yeah, are they all humanoid people?
I thought that the Titans were like purple, but Thanos was jacked. Because
That-
in one of
yeah.
those background scenes of Titan, you can see other Titans walking around and they're
Right.
like purple. They're
Right.
not like
they're like normal humans, but kind of purple, and he's a freak.
yeah.
I was kind of
Anyway.
hoping it would be like Thane or something, Thanos' son. That'd be an interesting character to use.
The point is, he looks not good.
He just looks like a normal person.
He's kind of skinny, and the costume looked really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like a Halloween costume that you could buy at the store. It was not. It was just, yeah. It was like bouncing. Like the armor was like bouncing on him, like on his chest above the cloth, like they stapled it to his cape or something. Yeah, not good. And then whatever the fuck he was saying, like, I know where your friends are. Let's go help them.
Yeah, he's talking about the ones who got kidnapped by
the judge or whatever his name is.
Right. But I don't even know why.
How would he know that? Why is it relevant?
Why does he have the Eternal thing? I don't know. And like, so are they? I got the impression that all the Eternals are the same set of people.
Yeah, I got that too. Because in that flashback, all the machines are like the same 7. Like,
and why are they all humans?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. If you're going to other races, aren't they supposed to integrate?
That actually might make sense if they're all machines and then they just take on the form of whatever they integrate. Although, to be fair, half the worlds we visited in this fucking universe are just humans. So,
well, not all of them. I mean, there were some.
Yeah, that's why I said half.
There,
but they are like, they're humanoids. But I mean, they said that they're sets, right? You saw he was saying that they're all built the same way.
Yes.
So there are others.
I don't think they explicitly said that. I think that they were. I think he said that they were made, but
in the scene,
they show
like,
you
they're like templates. There's like 7 templates repeated.
And there's a child template, and it's like, okay, so you're just trying to diversify. How does that work on other planets? Like, how does that help if they're like, what if they're like really small aliens? What's the point of having a human child there? Like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
but I did like the idea, because I looked at the Eternals and I was like, why are there so many of them? Why do their powers seem to be like non-superhero powers that mean nothing? And it's because they're meant to, like, I wish there was a little bit more discussion and exploration about you're trying to build up, you're trying to raise up the species to get to max population, but you're if you go too fast, then they'll like kill each other, right? Like, you can't give them like 50 cal machine guns right away, because they're just going to kill everything, and then they won't grow as a population. Like, it'll be destroyed.
Yeah.
You can't give them the atom bomb right away. I mean, you see what we did, right? Like, we dropped it on.
I want to talk about that scene.
Well, anyway, but the idea of like hitting the right spot of like technology versus population size, like, so at some point it becomes worth it to allow them to fight World War II, because that the population boom will be crazy after.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, now I get it. Now I understand why they sit out the wars. Like it makes sense. So there was a lot of stuff there that I'm like, okay, it fits. It does fit. It makes sense that you might put a child on Earth. I don't know why you would make a child, like why would you make more than one?
Yeah.
Like it, so
But okay, let me just take a brief segue to talk about the Hiroshima scene. So first of all, the fact that he's like, this is where I draw the line after everything that had happened in Europe and Asia before then. He's like, this is where I see that they're evil. It's like, okay. And then it's also like, I'm just saying, being a black man in 1940s Japan would not have been fun. They were super racist.
um but I do think like what they had done, they were doing to each other on an individual basis. But when you drop a bomb on a city, two cities, and you just eviscerate it, that's like now you've gone too far because the equation of war equals population boom like that doesn't make sense when you're using atom bombs. That
You're
number
right,
isn't going
but
to go up.
like I just think it's weird that that's where he loses faith. Not like, oh, we've killed 11 million people in death camps in Europe, or oh, they're like chopping babies in half in China. Like,
Yeah, but it's like the number is like, it's happening on an individual basis.
Actually, that part kind of confused me. The sequence of events leading up to the bomb kind of confused me a little bit. He said like, "This is my fault. This is the technology that I helped them. Like I helped them with." Does that mean A, he gave them the explicit technology to build the bomb and then it was dropped, or is he referring to the fact that he gave them the plow
I
and
think
from
he's
there they
more.
built the bomb?
I don't know if he directly gave them the atom bomb, but I think he's referring to any time he's helped them like advance
That's the
artificially
idea is
quickly.
like you do it in bits and pieces because if you just give them everything, then they're helpless. They're dependent on you. That's not the point.
You
The
go back to
idea,
ancient Babylon, just give them a bomb. Here, use this anytime you want.
but they had that discussion. They were going to give them the steam
The
engine,
engine,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's too much, too fast. Like you do the steam engine, and then like one population is going to basically take over everything. Whoever had the steam engine, so you'd have, it's a very delicate balance. I think that part is cool. Like I think that's a really interesting dynamic. Um, but like another question is, where did they get their accents from?
It's a good point.
Like, how come
And they speak
Faustus?
English when they show up.
So like Faustus is, and they're all like talking about how their names are like from things that they're actually the source of the name and not
The
like
legend,
the
yeah.
other. So
Mhm.
like Icarus, and then so Faustus is that Dr. Faustus? Is he supposed to be like the guy who has all the knowledge and power?
I have
Uh,
no idea.
You never
I
heard of
sort of
Dr.
thought like
Faustus?
No.
I thought it was
He's
pronounced like Festus because then it would be like Hephaestus, the guy who makes everything for the ancient
it's
Greeks.
it's not Hephaestus. It's like an astrologer who sells his soul to the devil in exchange for knowledge, I
Mm.
believe. Let me see. Faust, also called Faustus or Dr. Faustus, hero of one of the most durable legends in Western folklore and literature, the story of a German necromancer or astrologer who sells his soul to the devil in exchange for knowledge and power.
Interesting.
Um, yeah. So I mean, I feel like it's somewhat tied to that. But yeah, their accents. Like, why does he talk like a black guy from the 2000s at earliest? Like, he doesn't sound like a 90s. Like his language sounds very modern,
Hmm.
like very recent modern type. Like people like talk like that today. Where did where did Kingo get his Indian accent?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. If they're created to basically be like the apex predators to hunt down the deviants, why did they make one of them deaf?
Right. And that and it's like, okay, maybe it's because she's supposed to feel the vibrations and it enhances her other abilities, but also she's not even really deaf. She can hear. She just
Yeah, I
can't talk for
guess
some reason. Like she said she can hear, right?
she can detect vibrations when people talk, but
So she can hear, basically.
I guess. Then why everyone's using sign language the whole time?
I don't know. Like she can read. She knows what people are saying, right?
Yeah, she does know what people are saying. Yeah. Well, what you're saying, Kia, and I think the primary point of like the name and how they act, like, yeah, that is like, I don't know. That's just like movie.
That part is plot hole-ish, and then the organic thing is another plot hole.
Mm.
As far as like, I was waiting at the end of the movie for Asharam or whatever his name was to like. I'm like, what about him? Are they cut off from him or whatever? And then he shows up, and I'm like, this is a crazy twist to do at the very end of the movie. And he's like, all right. He's like, all right. I see what you guys did there, but I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you continue. But I'll be back.
Well,
And
no, he took
He
them
takes
with them
them,
to
yeah, he
judge
takes them with him.
humanity.
yeah, I
they're
know,
just-
but I know he takes them with him, but he doesn't say he's gonna take them. He
yeah, I
says,
know. He
he
just
says,
goes,
I'll return.
yeah.
Like he's not
It's-
mad.
Yeah.
He's just like, you. So you guys made this choice. Well, I'll be back to let you know. And then he just takes them.
I wonder if that's going to be like the next movie. Like they find them and he's like, all the memories are gone because he took them and is examining them and they're not those same people.
Well, it's the next something, but I don't want to see it. I don't care.
Well,
It's not even. I don't even have. Huh?
They're coming back, so somehow.
I don't know when they're gonna come back though. You're talking maybe like 6 years down the line.
Yeah.
Like
I guess.
when are they coming back?
I mean, it depends what like
We
the
have like
next,
at least 2 years of movies already locked up.
yeah, probably. But like it depends like if they're gonna be hints or something. This is weird actually. Let's talk about this for a second. Or actually, no, we should talk about that after. I'll bring that up in a minute. But yeah, so I don't know when we'll see them next. And then there's the second post-credit scene.
Mm.
Right, which is a little better. And I feel like if he had just never spoke about his family, is that ring that she gives him something that
It like transforms
connects?
him into the knight, I think, in the comics or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever. I think that he should have never said that thing in the park, and the post-credit sequence should have been him like wondering what to do and being like, I have to use whatever I can.
Yeah, but don't forget the voice, the great voice.
I like Mahershala Ali and I like Blade, and I'm okay with it.
Well,
I know, it's just
I-
funny that it's just the voice.
what does he have to do with the Black Knight, though? Blade's a
Apparently,
vampire
they're
hunter.
both heroes in Britain because Blade is
So-
British, and they're part of like some group.
Well, it's more
the tea bags.
so the ebony blade
Yeah.
is a thing that can like deal with magic and can cut through anything, as far
Yeah,
as I know.
it's an extremely
it, like,
powerful
cursed?
sword.
It has something to do with death. It's from a meteorite that
Okay.
Merlin forged. I don't know much about it beyond that. But it seems like if it has something to do with death, Blade might need it against vampires or something.
Okay.
That I mean, if the two of them are like, it's like a buddy cop movie, the two of them like hunting down vampires. It's interesting.
You watch Morbius, and at the end credit scene, he gets teleported into the MCU like Venom, and he just appears right in front of Blade and Dane Whitman, like having tea or something.
That
But-
that was part of the discussion of like, why would Sony make Morbius? Because him crossing paths with Blade makes a lot of sense. But when they go and they do their own shit, this is why you can't have a handshake deal with them. Like, do whatever, make whatever movies you want, and then we'll incorporate it later. They want to use Morbius. They're stuck now with what they did
Hmm.
in Sony, or they have to make their own
1 second.
Morbius, which they could with the multiverse now. So, anyway, what else? What else?
Sorry
Ever?
about that.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, what was the thing you were going to bring up?
Okay, what I was going to bring up is okay. So the end of Shang-Chi, like the hints, quote unquote, are they're like the rings are sending out a signal or something. Remember? Like there's a signal in the rings, or the rings are
Right.
communicating with
Yeah.
something. And then the ending of this is, you've got a couple different stingers of like, okay, Blade and the Black Knight. The Eternals are getting taken away somewhere. Star Fox. What the fuck is this next phase going to be?
I don't know. It's a multiverse problem.
Wasn't it Kang showing up?
It's a multiverse problem with Kang, or it's a celestial problem. I don't see them doing both.
Okay, but then what the hell was the thing at the end of Shang-Chi referring to? Because you think that would be a setup
Maybe
for
it's
something.
celestial technology.
It kind of, interesting. The rings and the Eternals, they were using rings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the problem is Eternals like create their power with energy. The rings exist even when you're not using them. So
Yeah.
they don't seem like Eternals technology. I don't know what the fuck they are, to be honest, but I just know that there was probably less thought put into that than the amount of time that we've talked about it. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's stupid. I'm not really sold on Marvel movies. Like, I'm basically done with Marvel. We have Spider-Man coming. Other than that, I'm just expecting everything to be dog shit. This was a big surprise to me.
Are you gonna
But
buy the Athena action figure when it comes out?
we'll see. I would take Icarus and Thena. Just good, yeah. We'll see. I thought Richard Madden was great in this.
Yeah, I liked him.
I thought they were all really good, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with the
They
acting.
felt like real characters. They almost seem, one, they're like really powerful to be in the regular MCU, and two, they seem much more nuanced. Like, there are
agree.
no characters that are, and they're robots, which is the stupidest thing. That tells you that, like, Shang-Chi is more of a robot than these people were. These people have feelings and consequences and dilemmas and like things that they love, and it's like clear. You know, Shang-Chi's got none of that. It's just an idiot running around like
Yep,
making jokes, you
you're
know?
correct.
So to me, I'm like, these people don't fit. Like, it doesn't even make sense. You're gonna put that next to Venom? You know what I mean? Like, what are they
Yeah.
supposed to think? What are they supposed to say to each other? They have real problems, and Venom's like, oh, let me eat people. Oh yeah, I can't eat people. Like, that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Is it Let There Be Carnage, the movie you were thinking of that goes from point A to point B?
No. It was another movie that it might have been even an older movie. I can't remember. I'd have to think about it. Um, but it was. Could it be the first one?
The first
No,
Venom?
it's not the first one. What other like big bombs were there?
Well, okay, so there's Shang-Chi, there's Black Widow,
I mean,
there's
okay,
Tenet.
it might have been Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Might
I
have been.
think, or maybe the first one of them, because that has the Uncle Ben scene, which is very, very much like that.
They
And I think
Uncle
the whole
Ben
movie,
them.
yeah, I think the whole movie's like that. Anyway, what else about this movie? I have some news about it I want to go over.
Yeah, let's go on the news. It's being panned pretty heavily.
It's like the first rotten MCU movie or something, right?
I think that those people are idiots. Let's see.
That's a lot of news for this week. Wow.
Eternals very nearly included Vampiro as a member of the superhero team.
What kind of a face is that? What the fuck?
The guy
we were
who made it, he's a moron.
we were given a binder when we first started this process. Ryan and I just sat down and flipped through the pages and picked the ones we thought could best reflect the world, whose powers were most interesting and compelling, and that was really our journey. A dozen is a nice number, so they were kind of pushing that. And we were saying that's quite a lot of people that we've never met before. They were like, let's try it. And so we did it for one draft. And the very first thing, they were like, okay, let's only have 10. One of them was Vampiro, who was a favorite of producer Nate Moore. He's a relatively obscure character from the comic books who ended up becoming a pro wrestler after parting ways with his fellow Eternals. He has superhuman strength, the ability to fly. He does have things like a vampire, but it's unclear whether he actually acts like one. Vampiro is definitely a character we can meet in another form down the line. I would almost bet on that. Dracula could even be tied to the Eternals. Yeah, interesting. Let's see.
Have you you know what this kind of reminds me of? Have you guys seen the new version of the new Warriors that they came out with that got canceled?
Of
No.
what?
Do you know who the new Warriors are in Marvel?
No.
They're like a teen superhero team. They tried to reboot them with like all these like modern characters, and people hated it so much that they got it canceled. Like, here, I'll send it in our
I vaguely
chat.
remember that, but
Here, you can take a look at it if you want. It's on the official Marvel website. It's
word on a certain surprise casting. I'm guessing this is Harry Styles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pip the Troll. Fuck, that was so bad.
yeah, he had his little mug too.
She
Getting
had her
drunk.
eye on Styles ever since seeing his performance in Dunkirk. He barely did anything.
Well, he barely did anything in this one too. So
Oh God. All right. Let's see. All right. Possibility of returning Chloe Zhao. I was encouraged to make a good standalone film. Very encouraged to do that. I think now the film belongs to you, not me, and we want to see how this child grows in this scary, wild, and beautiful world. And then we need to watch and listen and learn and see where we go from here. But I think I'm wrong about this, but I feel like filmmakers, it doesn't matter what genre, they tend to make the same movie over and over again. That's weird. Zhao then indicated that she does have an idea for how the story could continue, but doesn't necessarily feel she'd have to be the one to helm. I also think that there's something could be cool. I'm not maybe pitching this to Marvel, not necessarily with me, but the world is expanding real fast. If they do anything set in the past, anytime in history, these guys could show up because we've seen they've been there. Oh, that's a bad idea. Why would you want to do that?
they
Go
want to
back
do
in the
another. They want
past?
to do their version of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, don't do that because you know like nothing can happen to them. Don't do that at all. Um, what do you guys think? Do you want her to return to do another one?
If they're making a sequel, I feel like she has
It
to.
sounds like
Another
she
director
has
can't do
no
it right.
idea what she would do, and it kind of sounds like she doesn't want to do another one.
I
They
don't
better
think
bring her
that
back.
she should do another one because I think her story is told, and they're gonna butcher the characters from here on out. It's from what I'm
Okay, if you're
thinking.
looking at this, scroll down to where they have the character bios. Right there. These are the characters that they came up with. Read that description and tell me that doesn't sound incredibly
A
stupid.
meme obsessed super teen whose brain became connected to the internet after becoming exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas. What the
This got canceled, I'm pretty sure.
snowflake and safe space?
This cannot be real, dude.
It's on the Marvel website. It's 100% real.
Psychic twins. Snowflake, a cryotechnic, can materialize snowflake-shaped shuriken projectiles for throwing. Safe space can materialize pink force field, but he can't. That was a male. Okay, but he can't inhabit them himself. The reflex only works if he's protecting others. Snowflake and safe space. Wow. B negative. Oh boy. Whoa. A teen living vampire exposed to Michael Morbius' blood as a child in a rogue but life-saving medical procedure. He's obsessed with all the music and attitude of a classic long past decade. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Isn't Druig kind of like a jungle man? And then later when you see him, he's dressed like the Terminator. What was up with that?
I don't know.
What the fuck is this? Trailblazer? A regular kid scooped up into the world of teenage superheroing. Her magic backpack is actually a pocket dimension with seemingly infinite space. Okay. So I was like, I thought her weight would be like a part of it, but
No.
apparently not. There's Snowflake. Snowflake and safe space. Holy shit.
Internet gas. That's what I'm still thinking about.
Eternals Kit Harington opens up on that big cameo. I only knew that was Mahershala's voice just about 3 weeks ago. Chloe texted me saying that's what they were doing. It really excited me hearing that. Up until that point, all we've seen is a really good guy that we hopefully like. Yeah. I had some inkling that there was going to be some kind of crossover here. I don't know what the future. Okay, so he doesn't know. He probably knows, but he can't say. Eternals director Chloe Zhao says Zack Snyder's Man of Steel inspired me the most. How about that? Giving some credit. I can see it. I see why. You said it, not me. Superman is the Ubermensch, the ultimate man, the Superman, a concept that exists in all cultures. Of all modern interpretations of Superman, this is Zack Snyder's with Man of Steel, which inspired me the most because he approached this myth in an authentic way and very real way. I remember thinking it was Superman by Terrence Malick when I saw the trailer. What? What is she talking about?
I don't know what she's talking
I remember thinking it was Superman. What does that mean?
I don't know.
This film left a strong impression on me. Superman by Terrence. Is that like a comic?
Maybe. It's funny we mentioned this. I had it in my notes, but I didn't mention it. This is the first MCU movie I think I've seen where they actually mention DC properties quite a lot.
Yeah, I thought that
Star
was
Wars before,
interesting.
Yeah. Like they name dropped Superman a couple times. I think, did they say Batman in there once, or am I remembering that wrong?
They did.
I don't get it. Why did she put Terrence Malick and Superman in the same sentence?
That just says Tarek Man, whatever is a inspiration behind Snyder's Man of Steel posters. I don't know. I'm assuming he's just some guy who's also like.
Are there going to be pictures?
Wait, he's the guy behind 300?
It wasn't the.
No, the Thin Red Line.
Oh.
I don't. Tree of Life.
Okay, we're going down a fucking
understand
hole.
what she's talking about. Okay. Let's see. Salma Hayek. I thought she was great too. She signed on for multiple Marvel movies, but that's obvious because they do that, just in case they ever want to bring her back.
Like a clone of her or something, like another one of those.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, I'm not really interested in seeing that either. So I hope that's not what they're doing. Any more of this stuff? Eternals. We already read this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Is there a fight of the week?
Oh yeah, fight of the week. I don't remember the last time we did that.
Like 3 weeks ago or something. I hadn't thought of one yet. Full disclosure. Because we got home like an hour ago before we started this podcast.
All right, no fight of the week this week, folks.
Oh, damn, we won't be able to fill the next hour now.
Iron Coop doesn't fight the movies this week.
Well, it's interesting because I'm still trying to like consider the movie, to be quite honest with you.
What did you guys think of the sex scene?
I mean, it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
Thought it was perfectly fine.
But also, it didn't need to be there, to be quite honest.
Take it.
I mean, I think it did because didn't it show them like making love and then getting married?
I think so, yeah.
And then it switches to them in the car. It really feels like a long time has passed. I think it was effective, actually. It didn't have to be there, but I think it's important to see that they had a very, very physical connection. But I thought there was going to be more of a love triangle thing happening. Whatever. Beyond that, Roundup.
I finished listening to Blueprint for Armageddon. It's a podcast by Dan Carlin. It's his World War I recap. I highly recommend it. It's 6 episodes. It's really phenomenal. It really goes into like some very like minor but really interesting stuff about World War One that I think is not often looked at. It kind of shows every different participant side and goes like linearly from 1914 all the way to 1918. So I would highly recommend that. Yeah, it was really good.
Anything else?
That's all for
Nothing for
me.
me.
Nothing
have
for
stuff
you,
for-
Everett?
I have something for gaming, but nothing. I didn't watch any movies.
Okay, so HBO put out a podcast for Band of Brothers,
Really?
and it's really good.
Oh, I'll have to check that
I
out.
really like it. They're like an hour. It's based on each episode, and they have like one of the cast members on to talk about it. And it's just very interesting. You get to learn a little bit about like when the actors met with the real guys and what they were like, which is like that stuff. I know the history, but I don't know who these guys were personally. So like all those stories are nice. They talk a lot about the boot camp training that they went through, which is kind of interesting. And just like how they got cast and like certain aspects of the production, because they had really high production quality on that show. And yeah, it's funny. It reminded me of the type of training I put the wrestlers through, but like they're grown men who have never been tested like that. So in their minds, they're like, "Oh my god, this was amazing!" Like people started to complain that they were getting injured in the boot camp, and that the guy Dale Dye needed to tone it down. So he came and he's like, "Anybody who wants to sit it out can step out right now." And Donnie Wahlberg was like, "Nobody fucking leave." And I'm like, "Okay, this is the shit I do to children." Just so because like we do that exact thing where I'm like, "You don't have to run the sprints if you don't want to. Just step aside." And there is no punishment other than you didn't do it. Because other people are going to do it. Not everyone is going to step out. And then you're going to be standing there as the other guys do it. And it's going to suck. That's like you create like a bond like that. And so, Dale Dye knew exactly what to do. But it's funny that they're like, "Oh my God, that was crazy." It's like, yeah, I do that to children. What else? I've been watching Everybody Loves Raymond still. It's a great show. I saw someone talking about the Rush Hour movies. Have you guys seen those?
No, I haven't, but I have seen people talking about them lately.
I want to go back and watch those if I can. They're really funny with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were going to make a third one and they never did, or it was a fourth one. I don't know how many did they make.
Weren't there like 3 or something?
Were there 3? Yeah, there were only 3. So at the end of 3, there is a like a blooper reel,
Mm-hmm.
and like they kick a guy out of a window.
Yeah.
And Chris Tucker goes, "He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 4." And it was like the last one, and I remember the audience clapping in the theater. And like I always think of that whenever like a character dies. I always think like, "Oh, he ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 4." Like especially when they die hard, like they get thrown out of a window or like hit by a car or something. Like, yeah, he won't be in the sequel.
I remembered. I got a little bit further in Sopranos.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What part are you at now?
I pulled up my episode list. My next episode I have yet to watch is season 6, episode 10.
What's it
But
called?
the one that I just watched, I don't want to say, Emerson, how far are you? I don't want to say spoilers.
I mean, I'm at the end. I just finished season 3. I have to.
Okay.
What was the
start
ending for
season 4.
season 3?
It was like after
Oh,
Richie
is it
Aprile.
Jackie?
Yeah,
The funeral?
I think so. It was like 2 weeks ago.
That you watched it? Season 3?
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
said season 2 like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Okay, so then I finished season 2. I have not started season 3 yet. It was not
Okay,
season.
never
3.
mind.
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Ever what's the name of the episode?
The one that I've yet to watch is called. Do I have to click on it? I don't want it to play. Mo and Joe.
What was the one before?
Trying to figure out how to get to the episode lists. Yeah, they were at the carnival. That's the one.
Oh, that's The Ride.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, that
Funhouse.
that one episode had a scene that made me jump.
The Virgin Mary.
Well, there's that made me laugh, but no, the carnival ride with the kids. It
It made you jump. I don't. What do you mean?
well, can I explain it without anyone getting
Yeah.
mad? Okay, so like it's like Janice and everybody on the carnival ride, and there's like this little kid. It's like a little black kid sitting there, and the ride breaks down and jolts, and everyone's like freaked out. It cuts to him for a second. His teeth fall out of his mouth, and
Oh
there's just blood
yeah.
everywhere.
Oh yeah. That
I
was
watched
funny.
that, like I had to rewind it. It freaked me out.
It's funny because of how brutal it is,
Yeah.
and then everyone's like screaming and crying, and
hmm
yeah. Okay. So, Everett, what do you got for gaming?
Gaming. A week ago I beat the Guardians game, and I started the
Emerson,
new
you
Game Plus.
gotta. What are you doing?
I was just trying to see. I was reading something about Eternal. Sorry about that.
Everett,
I beat the Guardians game a week ago, and I started New Game Plus. So I made some assumptions
is
about
it?
it. I love it. I think it is phenomenal. There are a few problems with it, but overall, it's really refreshing, to be honest. Because most of the games that I've been playing lately, they're all open world. They all have they're all battle royale stuff. They're all first person. Like this one is a nice. It kind of reminded me of Spider-Man PS4 because it's a nice linear game.
How
You
long
go
was it compared to Spider-Man?
compared to Spider-Man. There's like 13 chapters, so there's 13 missions, but
That doesn't seem very long.
each of them are about an hour and a half long.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty long.
An hour and a half long
For a
So you're
single
saying-
mission?
For a single mission, an hour to an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
So you're saying like at least a 30-hour game?
It's a lot. It's pretty long, at least from the way I played it. But I love it. I think it's great. It's got
It
all
says
the
15
things,
to 20 hours to complete.
It's pretty long. It's pretty good.
I
But
actually bought
uh,
it, but I'm not going to play it anytime soon.
It's got a lot of the things that I like, at least with those games. It's got a lot of collectibles. It's got a lot of great comic references. It's in no way related to Avengers. It's got some Easter eggs, but it's in no way related to Avengers. It's completely
Good.
different. There's no microtransactions. There's a lot of outfits. Not a single microtransaction in that game at all. Every outfit you can unlock linearly through the story.
What about there were outfits included in the special edition?
Yeah, they're just early unlocks, like from Spider-Man. You just unlock them early. That's it.
Speaking of the Avengers game, did you guys see that Square Enix threw the studio under the bus that made the game? It's
Did
like
they?
No.
Arclight. Square Enix was like, yeah, they were the wrong studio to go with, like with the microtransactions and stuff. And it's like, aren't you kind of in charge
They're
of
the
that?
publisher. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they like threw the devs underneath the bus.
Yeah.
I forgot. I also finished Mass Effect 3 because I
Oh,
never got
yeah.
to finish it.
Same opinions.
I
No
really like
spoilers.
the game, but the ending still sucks ass.
Mm.
It's just a bad ending. Like, how does shooting a random fuel tank destroy the Reapers? It doesn't even make sense.
Have you guys ever
It's
watched
like a-
Zero Punctuation before?
Yes.
No, I don't know what that is.
Yahtzee Croshaw, the guy who runs it, makes a really funny joke about the ending of Mass Effect 3. He says it's basically like deciding which flavor of ice cream gets handed out to everybody in the universe. There's
Right.
like not really much difference.
Right. I picked Destroy ending because I just think that that's what Shepard would do. The hybrid one, I don't think I had enough EMS rating.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't do everything Paragon, which is like when you do everything Paragon, it basically like it's doing everything the nice way, and that's like the best way to get the best of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of pushes you down that path. Whereas for me, I'm like realistically from Shepard's point of view, anything that gets a bigger army takes priority.
Mm-hmm.
So like I fake the genophage thing because I don't need to cure it like to save the world. I just need to get the Krogans on board. And like so I shot Morden, which I didn't do that in my first playthrough, but I like to do things that are like a little bit more morally gray
Mm-hmm.
when I actually play for the story because I think that that's more interesting. And so it's not important to me that everybody lives at the end or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up with a lower EMS rating. So I didn't have the hybrid option, but I wouldn't have chosen it anyway. But like cinematically, that game is fantastic right up until you get booted up into the ship.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, and it's also just feels weird because it goes backward in intensity.
Yeah. But like I don't remember why, but my teammates died on the charge to the ship,
Yeah.
whatever, the beacon or whatever we
The
were calling it.
beam,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
They get crushed by the
Which I had never
missile.
seen that before because that had never happened. So I didn't know that was possible, but that was pretty cool. Like it's a pretty badass ending if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah. All right. I think there were a couple things for gaming on here. Maybe this was it.
I think this is them.
Marvel's Avengers publisher. We overcame a variety of unexpected difficulties in the final phase of the game's development, including needed to transition to work from home. Okay, that's not the problem. We were able to surmount these challenges and release the game, but it has unfortunately not proven as successful as we would have liked. Yeah, it's not because you
Yeah.
worked from home. Nonetheless,
'Cause-
taking on the game as a service model highlighted issues that we are likely to face in the future. In future game development efforts, such as the need to select game designs that mesh with the unique attributes and tastes of our studios. What?
Look at the next sentence.
While the new challenge that we tackled with this title produced a disappointing outcome, we are certain that the games as a service approach will grow in importance as gaming becomes more service oriented. Wow, so they
they're
haven't
doubling
learned.
down.
Yeah, they haven't learned a single fucking thing.
Yeah.
The money's too good, I'm telling you. Like
It must be, yeah.
they look at like World of Warcraft or like GTA 5 online, and
Yeah.
they're like, we can't pass this up.
That's why I liked Guardians so much. It's so odd. Like the B team made a better game than the A team.
That's usually how it goes though, because when you kind of have to like when you're not like in the spotlight and you have to like work harder and like take risks and do stuff, you tend to make something better if you succeed.
Mhm.
So Marvel's Avengers is finally getting Spider-Man.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yay. Only for PS4, right?
That's what I'm looking for. Revealed when the wall crawler will be coming
Yeah,
to
there
their
it
live
is.
service. Unfortunately for those on Xbox, PC, and Stadia, Spider-Man will be exclusively available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Nevertheless, those on the Sony side of things can expect Spider-Man content to drop on November 30th.
Well, I'm not re-downloading that game again, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
It's just a garbage game.
All right, trailers.
Okay, there's a lot here, I think. Do we want to just go like sequentially?
Well, there's a lot of news. Yeah, we're gonna skip the trailer section and just talk about these news things that we have.
Okay.
All right. So Hawkeye, new look at Clint Barton and Kate Bishop suited up. Have you guys seen this picture?
I think I have actually. This looks really weird.
Why does the dog look like that?
Oh my god! Wait. On a side note, did you guys see the Clifford the Big Red Dog trailer?
Oh yeah,
Yes, we did.
that was fucking crazy.
They're playing Dynamite in the background.
They're like, we have a warrant out for the arrest of the big red dog.
Yeah, like government agents and cops are like,
yeah, totally. Like that guy from Arrest. Tony Hale. I can't believe he even took this role. Like,
dude, we're watching the trailer in the theater, and I'm like, oh, it's Clifford. Like, it's gonna be cringy. And then like they're like, did you see this? It's like the $10,000 reward for whoever captures him. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, and it's like he's doing superhero things. He's like catching people falling out of buildings and stuff. And then at the same time, it cuts to Tony Hale, and he's like, "Get that dog!" Like police cars and shit. Like Jesus, what's going on?
It's the Clifford cinematic universe.
Clifford will return in Avengers.
That would be sick, honestly. If Clifford was part of the Avengers, like he'd be my favorite Avenger hands down.
He'd buy the Hot Toys figure of Clifford.
I would totally be like, yeah, let's let him loose on like fucking Thanos. All right, these costumes are not bad. They're very comic accurate.
But is this them actually wearing them, or is it because this almost looks CGI?
I think it's just like the polish of the shit that they do to the pictures because they're trying to make it all purple. So this obviously isn't like a real background. The dog may or may not have been there when they took the photo.
I like hers. His is a little bit awkward looking.
Yeah, it's from the comic. It also looks very cheap.
Yeah, it does look
All
cheap.
of the TV show stuff has looked very cheap. Hers looks better because you don't expect her to have like a high tech thing. His looks weird.
I like his original outfits, like the Civil War outfit, like where it's like leather.
The
I
Civil
like
War outfit is the figure that I have, and that's all I'll ever need. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever halts
I heard
production
about
as
this.
Letitia Wright continues to recover from COVID. No, I'm kidding. But she's an anti-vaxxer. Have you guys seen that?
Really?
Apparently, she's been saying a lot of shit on set that is like causing some issues.
Ooh,
That's not
But
good.
this is a on-set injury suffered back in August.
They put a hit out on her.
The most disappointing aspect of this,
yeah.
is that it seems like she is Black Panther.
But
if
like,
she's getting
didn't they
injured.
keep shooting for like 2 months? I don't know.
Yeah, she's been elevated to Black Panther Wakanda Forever's lead. She's the new Black Panther.
I don't really mind that. I would have preferred it to be the other woman, but
Yeah. What was her name?
Lupita Nyong'o or something.
Nakia.
Nakia.
This is like in James Bond, you know how he has his gadget guy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like if you took that guy and made him James Bond. I just
Q,
don't
really?
see like, and also, doesn't she have to win a fight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's funny that she's like that you're saying she's an anti-vaxxer and now she's Black Panther.
Maybe the new Black Panther suit will have those sonic cannons that she uses.
Oh, for sure it will.
Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home TV spot contains a few snippets of new footage.
Why do they always pick like the worst photos to display these with?
I don't know. All right. Do you guys see anything of interest? I mean, I guess we would know because the
I've not
internet
seen
would go
anything
crazy.
new.
Yeah, like if there were like cool things, then it would be like screenshots everywhere.
By the way, how crazy is it that they have not released the new trailer? The movie comes out in a month.
So,
I think
okay,
there's
this-
speculation, right?
this means that like that
I've
that could be
heard-
good, right?
I've heard that they're debating on whether or not to show the Spider-Man, and that is
Mm.
why it's delayed. You definitely saw lightning there. And
Where's Venom? I didn't see Venom.
all those fools who bought into the hype of Sony's little bait and switch. The Boys unveils the first official look at the Walking Dead alum Laurie Holden as Crimson Countess. I don't know her. I don't care. I assumed ever you might be into this.
No, I don't know her. I'm still waiting for Soldier Boy.
What?
There's a guy called Soldier Boy. He's played by dude from Supernatural. I forget his name.
Oh, Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles or something. Yeah.
Star Wars Matt Smith calls his scrapped Rise of Skywalker role a shift in the history of the franchise.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Landed a key role. He might be playing a younger clone of Emperor Palpatine or his son. I could not possibly say, but it was a pretty groovy thing. It was a big story detail, like a, transformative Star Wars story detail, but it never quite got over the line. It was a big shift in the history of the franchise. There was no costume test. There were a couple of meetings to talk about it. Maybe I can come back. You never know. So
Good luck
he's
with
in
that.
Morbius as the villain, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I
even
saw
though they're
he's in the
like
trailer.
keeping him very low.
Yeah, they
key.
barely show him in the trailer.
Yeah.
So the new trailer. Anyway, I think that he looks great as the vampire.
Yeah.
I will
But-
say that. Like, I will probably buy that figure because
Go ahead. Sorry.
I like Michael Morbius from the animated series, and I think that the design looks pretty damn good.
So I agree. The design looks great, and but there are some things in this new trailer, like when he's like, "I have some form of bat radar." I'm like, "It's called
Right.
echolocation, bro."
Right, and I don't know. I don't even understand why they would. Why? Like, echolocation is a thing people learn in like first grade.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
knows what it is. Why are you calling it bat radar, dude?
I mean, he even says some form of bat radar. So he didn't just forget the name of echolocation. He never knew it existed. He's like, oh, this is some kind of
They
bat
don't
radar.
teach that in medical school.
Yeah. Like he's a fucking idiot. And doesn't he primarily like study bats or something?
Well, we can assume that in order to get that cure, he studied bats for quite a while. So he
So
must have seen echolocation somewhere.
beyond that,
He has that Venom moment at the end. He's like, I am
there's
Venom.
actually a lot here that I wanted to discuss.
Man. Venom. Just kidding, Michael Morbius, bro.
Let's see if there's okay. So there are a lot of things that confuse people in this trailer about what
Okay.
universe it's in.
Yes.
Horizon Labs.
Okay.
Let's see. Glowing red for Horizon. Confirmation of Horizon Labs from the comics. Okay, so they do some vibranium stuff. Okay, whatever. There's also Oscorp.
Okay.
So, okay. Dr. Michael Morbius apprehended for vampire murder.
There it is. Rhino on the loose.
Yeah, Rhino on the loose. Black Cat, friend or foe. Finding the truth within, told in his own words. Who is that? The Daily Bugle. Okay, whatever. So there's a Daily Bugle. Fine. There's already Oscorp.
Okay.
A Rhino. Which Rhino? We don't know. Because like that suggests Amazing Spider-Man. So does Black Cat because they had Felicity Jones
Felicia
cast
Hardy
as Felicia Hardy. So it's like Amazing Spider-Man universe, but then there's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man costume here.
Yeah.
Isn't that like just a rip from the PS4 game?
It's the PS4 screenshot of the costume, which is even weirder. So you could even say like there's proof that it's from I don't know.
PS4 universe.
It's fucking stupid. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
A whole lot of Venom. What's this? What is he doing?
No.
Well, that's the scene where they mention all the stuff in San
That's the
Francisco.
scene. Like, this is the weirdest thing since that stuff back in San Francisco.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's the Venom universe.
So they're like, it's connected to Venom. Are you telling me that if they had the A-OK to connect it to the MCU, that they decided not to do it when they're doing this like over the head bullshit? Come on.
It doesn't make sense.
Come on. They're going to be like, he basically held the guy up and he's like, who are you? He's like, this is in the Venom universe. Like, that's basically what he said.
Yes.
And you're
right.
telling me that they
Okay.
could have said MCU and they didn't? Give me a fucking break.
You're right, but remember that fucking article I sent you where fucking what's his name? Kevin Feige is like, we definitely coordinated, and like it like was weird.
I think maybe we talked about this on the Hot Toys podcast, but I think that they're planning to give Spider-Man back to Sony.
Okay.
Like, we think that this movie is the end, and it's going to end in a place where he's like on his own now. And they're going to just do whatever the fuck they're going to do. And maybe they'll keep one movie in the contract to bring him back if they want, because they do have one movie left, maybe for like an event thing. But otherwise, they're basically saying like, we had enough of these nut jobs and their stupid ideas.
Yeah.
So that's what we think is going to happen. It's almost like, I feel like they sat in there when they made the deal. They're like, we want to use Spider-Man for our movies. They're like, well, we want to make a Venom and Spider-Man movie. We already made Venom. This is the time to make a Venom Spider-Man movie. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. They're like, then you have to let us make it. And so Kevin Feige's probably like, fine, but we're just never going to touch Spider-Man after. Like, it's over. Like, I don't know. I think that's more likely. Let's see. The bunch of stuff's in San Francisco, but not anything in reference to Ant-Man's incident. Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Yep.
Yeah.
He looks like he's still in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, we got to catch up sometime or something.
Yeah.
Let's
So
keep in
again,
touch.
they don't say. So they'll make Morbius say Venom, but they won't make Michael Keaton say Spider-Man.
Let's see. Well, what are the three options this article quote unquote gives?
The trailer is deceptively cut to build as much hype as possible because it is a piece of marketing. 100%. That's the most obvious answer. That's what it is. Option 2, there's no real explanation other than the multiverse, which is pretty much the foundation of comic books. Okay, but you're also basically saying that option 2 is still basically option 1, and you're waiting to see if it turns out to be the multiverse. Option 3, Morbius is a hilariously important part of the MCU and Sony's universe colliding story. They're obviously going to be playing out over the course of the next few years. And the key to understanding it all, the nexus point is this vampire movie. Yeah, I don't think so. Looks like it opened 3 months after Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, he's telling you. I'm not the only one telling you. This guy's telling you. It's option 1. The trailer is deceptively cut to build as much hype as possible. I bet you that Venom line might not even be in the movie.
Yeah, that could be like an outtake thing, and it's just not in.
Spider-Man No Way Home costume descriptions for 2 Spider-Man variants and Green Goblin revealed.
Hey.
Let's see. Okay. All right. So there's nothing too spoilery here. Okay. Tobey Maguire. The original big screen Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. Is he even still Spider-Man? Will Marvel Studios de-age him? His costume is essentially the same as it was in the trilogy. It was only shown hanging up alongside other suits, but the colors do appear to be a little more vibrant. It's been suggested that this is a result of lighting, but the costume did slowly get brighter across. So they're saying no change. Is that what they're saying?
Basically,
except
just
the
color
colors maybe a
changing.
little lighter. Yeah.
But that could be changed in editing anyway. Andrew Garfield will be wearing a costume that's described as basically the same as the one in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I kind of wish he had a different one. I know people love this version because it's comic accurate.
What would you rather see instead?
The eyes are a little big.
Did you guys see the concept art? Yeah, but the movie, it's like that in the comics. Do you guys ever see that concept art? I think I have a picture of it somewhere.
So long as he's not wearing the one from the first movie, I'll be fine. It doesn't look like a motorcycle suit.
Yeah, that one sucked, but there was a concept art, and I could have sworn I saved it because I liked it, but it seems like it may have just been fan fiction or fan art. I guess I don't have that picture anymore. That sucks. Why did I delete that?
Yeah.
It's probably, well, he had, oh, here it is. Okay. I don't know. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like black.
It's dark blue. It just looks, but I like
wearing a silver belt.
Toby is, yeah. They're both red and blue, but he has this like the white around him. I don't mind Toby's, but I kind of like Andrew's.
He kind of looks like Spider-Man 99 or whatever.
It's a little different. It's got like a, whatever. It's fine. It's okay. All right, let's see what else. Green Goblin. We're getting the Sam Raimi designed Spider-Man suit, though it's said to be damaged and patchy. I guess because he would have been built. Adjustments have been made, including a tan-colored shoulder strap and belt. I saw a picture of that going around social media, but I don't know if it was real or not.
There's something on the bottom there that's a link. Is that the link to the picture?
Let's see. Oh, this is just the source. Yeah. Gold and purple accessories, including a cloth wrapped around his arms. The costume is still fully green. Exoskeleton. No mask. No mask isn't bad.
Yeah.
The Witcher season 2 trailer and poster.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the trailer. I'm not even sure I saw it.
I remember it was basically like kind of just like, here's where every character is. You see like Geralt and Ciri. Like,
was this convinced Yennefer's life was lost at the Battle of Sodden? Was that in the first season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
She like goes back to destroy the the trebuchet, and she like uses her like power to create the fireball, and it looks like it kills her. And then like Son gets kind of overwhelmed.
Have they shown what's his mentor's name again?
No, they have not shown him yet.
No,
I
they
know who we're
have.
talking.
I've seen it. I've seen his picture.
But he hasn't been like, he wasn't in season 1.
No,
wasn't
he
in
hasn't.
season
No,
one.
but
What's
there
his
were
name?
set photos of him.
What's his
I
name? I'm forgetting
can't
his name.
remember.
Um,
Series newcomers: Yastin Astor as the Witcher Cohen. No, as the Verena Witcher Lambert. Rasmussen Eskol. I don't think his name is here.
No, I would recognize his name if I saw it.
Because remember they wanted Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Vesemir.
Vesemir,
him?
that's
Yep,
it.
that's him.
Yeah,
Vesemir
his
is him.
name wasn't here. Thunderbolts rumored to start production. Fuck
Thunderbolts.
that.
No, another one for the shit box, I guess.
Oh yeah, did you guys see this World War Hulk leak idea?
No, what was it?
I don't even remember. What were they referencing? The same site that recently broke the news about World War Hulk being on the way. GWW. Okay, whatever. 2023 will bring a bunch of new projects. Fantastic Four, Nova, an Okoye project, a sequel to Shang-Chi, Secret Project.
It's a little fast for a sequel for Shang-Chi, isn't it?
War of the Thunderbolts. 2023 though, 2 years. It's on par for the Spider-Man movies. Where is their
Hulk thing?
Yeah.
Well, there's a link back. Go back a page where they said World War Hulk. There was a link.
Yeah, we clicked that. It
Yeah,
takes you to nothing.
Already. I guess it's maybe this.
Yeah.
She-Hulk. Hulk movie is on the way and it's currently being called World War Hulk. New solo Hulk film. The reason why Hulk only has one movie so far is because his film rights formerly belonged to Universal Pictures. A new Hulk film means Marvel/Disney have regained the rights. I think we might have heard about that. But they kind of already butchered that in Ragnarok.
I guess, yeah.
Have you guys read World War Hulk?
I have not.
That's the one. That's not the one where he
cool.
gets sent into space, right?
It is. So Planet Hulk is what you saw in Ragnarok, where he goes and he becomes a gladiator or whatever. World War Hulk is like he makes a family there and he's happy, but the spaceship they shot him out of Earth in like has a bomb on it and it explodes and kills everyone. So he's pissed and then he goes back to Earth and he's like, I'm gonna kill you all. I don't see this version of the Hulk being like that. This would have been like the Age of Ultron Hulk that was still a maniac.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening here. Makes you think like, will it be a new Hulk?
Maybe.
Like, could it be a different, like maybe not She-Hulk, but someone else who's like out of control?
Yeah, but you'd have to set that up, and I don't know.
His insane side takes over again or something.
Yeah. Okay. Spider-Man No Way Home still sees Tom Holland's wall crawler at the mercy of Doc Ock.
I heard I forget if we talked about it already, or maybe it's just something I saw by myself. I saw a thing like it's Doc Ock that disables the Iron Spider outfit.
I heard something about Iron Spider and Doc Ock. Yeah, I don't know. Wonder Woman 3, Gal Gadot confirms that Linda Carter will return as Asteria. I mean, that's not bad, but
do they really need a third one?
I have zero faith in this. There was also rumors I saw that they're gonna put in like Hawk Girl and Supergirl, and it's gonna be like a female thing. And I'm like, yeah, I don't
do that with Birds of Prey.
I don't know, but I don't trust them to do anything at this point. Like, I don't ever want to see a Wonder Woman movie from Patty Jenkins again. Vin Diesel asks The Rock to return for final 2 Fast and Furious films. Fulfill your destiny.
Don't
Well,
they
you
hate
know,
each other? They hate each other.
They hated each other
Wait, why do they hate each other?
because they're both douchebags with. I mean, I think Vin Diesel's probably the bigger douchebag, and The Rock doesn't like that. My little brother Dwayne. By the way, you know that he's like probably on a stool, right? Like the world awaits the finale of Fast 10 because they've done 8. They're at 8 right now.
They get sent to the moon base.
As you know, my children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne in my house. But the time has come. Legacy awaits. Do not leave the franchise idle. Be the first half of a 2-part finale. They're gonna have to like dump a truckload of money at his house.
Fast and the Furious Endgame.
This is the funniest headline. Dave Bautista on Dune roll. I'm not just the guy in Guardians walking around shirtless and saying stupid shit. That's crazy.
I can't believe he would say that.
Dave
Also-
Bautista is kind of a weird guy.
I mean, he's not a Hollywood guy. I like it, but his Dune role was pretty shitty, wasn't it?
I mean, it wasn't shitty in terms of like, but it wasn't a great role for him. He was in it very little.
He seemed like a total meathead, like pure brute force character. Doesn't say much.
It could have been played by another character, and it would probably.
He's
go a little
essentially
better.
just the basic henchman.
He was Raban, right? Am I right? I don't know.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Raban. I mean, maybe he's talking about like the next part. He has more to do.
Well,
thing
if,
with
if
this-
it goes after the book, yeah.
The thing with this character was it just gave me an opportunity to showcase a different type of performance. And that's what I really love about working with director Dennis, whatever. I get an opportunity to show myself as a performer in a different light. I'm not just the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy walking around shirtless and saying stupid shit. The role really just gives me the opportunity to play these like really deep characters. Yeah,
He is begging to get killed off in the next movie.
he should have died in Infinity War. There's no reason for him to be alive.
It's interesting that he kind of acknowledges that he's like, my
Yeah.
character's dumb.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him. He like says the real thing. Did you guys watch the Stranger Things trailer?
I did.
No, I didn't.
What do you
It
think
seemed
about it?
it didn't seem like a Stranger Things trailer, but it seemed really generic and like it's obvious like, oh, there's a conspiracy and like everything seems normal, but then it isn't. And like the group is split up. Like, okay.
It's been a long time since this podcast reviewed a Stranger Things anything.
I don't even know if I watched the 3rd season.
I think you did. Cause yeah, you did. Because we talked about it pretty in depth.
I thought we did the 2nd season.
No, we did the 3rd season because the 3rd season ends with the military arriving in the mall. And me and you were debating because I was like, I want to see the military fight the creature. And you were like, they can't do that because when the military starts fighting the creature, that's like the end.
Wait. Which one was the one where Will goes missing?
The
That was
second
the
one.
2nd season. And then in the 3rd
That's
season.
the last one I've seen.
No. You saw the
Wait a minute.
3rd one.
Wait. Maybe it was the first season where he goes missing. He gets
No.
abducted into the upside down.
Yeah, he does, but it's
The
different.
second one is the one where he's like phasing in and out.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
centered
yeah.
around him.
Yeah. And then the 3rd one is when there's the mall and there's Ethan Hawke's daughter. And
Oh, that
they-
wasn't the 2nd season?
No, that's the 3rd season.
The 3rd season's like all the Russian propaganda shit.
Yeah, the Russians
Oh,
are involved.
yeah. Oh,
and,
God, this
like-
is awful. Yeah, fuck this. The Incredible Hulk. Marvel Studios initially feared that Universal was not marketing the movie well. Well, with no long-term benefits for their effort. Oh, because they knew that they were losing. Whatever. Step back. Yeah, because their deal was only for one film, so they knew that there was no point.
Hmm.
Huh. That's interesting. What did you guys think of Buzz Lightyear?
I
was
actually really loved it.
Odd.
I loved it. And not
Why?
just because, well, okay, I'm a little biased because if you compare the trailer to one of the missions from Halo Reach, they're shot for shot remakes. And I think it's
What?
hilarious. You've played Halo Reach before, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the mission called the Long Night of Solace where you fly through space? You're like flying around, and there's a mission where you fly around in something called a Saber. It's basically like a fighter jet. You can compare this trailer to the opening sequence of that mission, and they're exactly the same. And it is absolutely hilarious.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you can compare any like scene where someone flies a spaceship in space.
Trust me, there's a video on it that I can send you that's like side by side the exact same.
Sure, I'll check that out. But what you like the trailer, Everett?
Yeah, I liked it.
I was like, okay, this seems odd. Like I didn't know what to think, to be quite honest with you.
I don't understand. Like,
is this
he's a real
then?
guy?
Yeah, that's.
I think this is like, at least in the Toy Story universe, this is like the movie the toy is based off of.
The movie, okay, because I
saw speculations like the end of this movie is going to be like Andy sitting in the theater telling his mom, "I want a Buzz Lightyear toy."
Okay, I mean, is there really a story to tell there?
Yeah, there is. It's like the Space Ranger stuff. They had a whole television show based around it.
I mean, but like a real like motion picture of him like fighting Zurg.
We'll see.
I don't see one. I mean, I was more concerned about how Chris Evans is voicing him.
Why?
I don't know. I wanted Tim Allen. Tim Allen's the voice.
Right. That's true, actually, because he does have that voice when he does the recording.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be Tim Allen, because that would have been like the actor from the movie. Interesting. All right, I think that's it, huh?
You got my game of smartass.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Alrighty then. Emerson, it's your turn to start this week. What would you like to
Thing.
pick first? Thing. Alrighty. You guys ready? Where did my zoom? There it goes. All right. Thing. Here we go. This is a fictional item. It is approximately the size of a watermelon. It used to be fairly common, but is now an expensive relic. This item can be bought in real life as a prop or in other forms of merchandise. They come in a variety of colors. Its first appearance was in a book, but eventually appeared in a long-running television show. They were originally thought to be fossilized.
Oh, dragon egg.
Correct. Nice.
From what?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh.
Nice. All right. Place in person. What's next?
Place.
Person. Oh, whatever.
Oh, I didn't know who was going.
Well, I'll do place first. All righty. This place's first appearance was in the year 2019. It has only appeared in one property so far. It is a fictional location.
It's the fucking place from Shang-Chi.
It has a population of over 30,000.
Never mind.
It features a very large variety of biomes, such as forest, snowy tundra, jungle, and plains. It hosts a series of old military installations. It is inhabited by a variety of different factions. It is located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Aroa?
Correct. Nice.
I can't focus. I don't know.
All right. Last one is person. Here we go. This person first appeared in March of 1973. They have appeared across all mediums of entertainment. So far, they have appeared in 3 live-action films. In their first appearance, this person seemed to lack basic social skills. They were raised as somewhat of a pet. This person was snapped. They were recently featured in
Rocket
a new
Raccoon?
No. Kia?
Groot?
No. This person was recently featured in a newly released video game. They are an empath and can detect and alter people's feelings.
Oh,
Mantis?
fuck.
Correct.
I didn't know what her name was.
Do you want the extra question?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. What is the name of the actress who plays Mantis in the MCU?
Poe Clementif. Something like that.
It's close enough. Correct.
What is her name?
It's Palm Clementif.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you each got 2
All
points.
right, 2
Emerson
points.
54, Kia 47.
Closing that gap. All right, so looking forward,
Did you want to see the tennis movie
is
The
that coming
Serena
out?
Williams movie?
with Serena?
Yeah,
and
I
I
did.
don't know when it's coming out.
Are we gonna do Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Mm,
That's what I was about to ask you. I don't really care.
I'm probably gonna see it.
I mean, it's up to you guys. I'm not
Is
going to
it-
see it on my
Do I
own.
have to pay for it in the theater?
Yeah, it's a theater movie.
Mm,
Well, what are our alternatives?
So King Richard comes out in 2 weeks. Well, let's see. We have, I guess we can't see No Time to Die anymore. So
it's going to come out on streaming soon.
hopefully,
I think in a week.
so. There's Ghost. Really?
I was pretty sure there was like news.
What's
that
streaming?
Let me see. Let me
God, I
look it
have
up.
I have
read
no
something.
want to see that movie, but if we do it, I'll watch it.
James-
I just don't want to pay for it. That's all.
Let me see.
Let's see. It finally released. Blah blah blah. God, just tell me the.
It'll be
fucking date.
available to rent next weekend.
When will be made available? Are you sure it's next weekend?
Well, Variety, November 6th. No Time to Die, the latest entry in the James Bond series, will be available to rent for $19.99 on digital platforms in the US starting on Tuesday.
$20? I don't know.
I mean, it's better than me paying 40 to go to see Ghostbusters. We could also do what's the Tom Hanks movie that we're on?
Let me
Sully,
pull it up.
right?
Sully.
Yeah.
Or
Watch
was it
Sully.
or was it a Wonderful Neighborhood thing?
Let
think-
me see.
I think it
What
was
was the last
Sully.
one we did? It was it Captain Phillips?
Yeah, we saw Captain Phillips.
Okay, so then where the hell is Captain Phillips?
Wait, that wasn't the last one.
No,
The
we
last-
did Bridge of Spies. Bridge of Spies.
Okay.
What about
So
the Disney one?
Sully is next.
The one about Mary Poppins.
Sully followed by
That was
The
was
Post.
before Bridge of Spies, I think.
It was? Oh, okay.
So Sully,
yeah.
I'd
and
watch
then on
that.
the 19th is King Richard.
Yeah. I've never seen Sully, so
Really?
yeah, I've never seen it.
The Origins of Birdman.
That's funny. You've never seen it, even though we did it in that movie.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I'd seen the trailers, but I've never seen the movie.
Okay, so we have Sully. I mean, Emerson, do you have any interest in Ghostbusters?
So I have no interest in Ghostbusters, to be quite honest, but if you guys want to see it, I will go see it.
I don't want to see it.
Okay,
Not,
then
I don't want to pay to see it.
That'll probably be a thing I do in Roundup then.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd even do an episode on it. I might just talk about it in Roundup too when I see it. I will see it eventually, but I don't care.
Alright.
So King Richard on the 19th,
Okay.
and then we have the 26th. Maybe I'll be done with Harry Potter by then. So we have a few weekends. We have 1, 2, 3 weekends.
I feel like there was
Until
something we were
Spider-Man.
talking about maybe doing, like going back, something older.
We
and
haven't done a
watching.
commentary in a
The
while.
Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to watch The Thing. I just not yet.
But yeah, I feel like there was something else too, though. I don't know what it was.
I remember saying I wanted to watch The Thing, but I don't remember anything else. The Kingsman, December 24th. I don't really care to see that either.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's
it's.
a pass on that one.
I feel like I've seen that trailer so many times. I just don't care.
It's in
Yeah.
the same vein as Black Widow. I feel like I've seen the movie 100 times by now.
Yeah, I think that's. So we'll continue with Tom Hanks after King Richard.
Well, after
Yeah.
Sully, we don't have much.
Well, we
Spider-Man's
have.
coming out in December.
What else is there after
Okay,
Sully?
so let me pull it up.
We have a few. Still.
So after Sully, something called California Typewriter,
No.
then something
Skipping
called
that.
Inferno,
No, that's one of the
Okay.
those shitty ass movies.
The Circle.
That's the one with Emma Watson, right?
The Circle.
Mark Felt, the man who brought down the White House.
Wait, hold on. Let me look at these. The Circle. Tom Hanks.
It's like a tech company movie or something. I'd watch that. I haven't seen that one.
I don't think we need to review it, but I might watch it
Okay.
myself.
So then, okay, so no on The Circle. Then Mark Felt, the man who brought down the White House.
I've never seen it, but
Let me catch up with this. Oh, this is not in order. God, the fuck is the point of this?
Oh wait, it doesn't star him. Wait, does it star
We
him?
just want actor.
Okay, so no, this doesn't matter then. So then Mamma Mia here or The Post. The Post?
So Sully,
Yeah.
The Post. We saw Greyhound. Oh, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
yeah.
So 1, 2, and then
So 3, really.
News of the World is 3. That's the new one.
Hmm.
And then maybe Finch, 4. Finch just came out.
Okay. Well, I don't
Alright.
even know what Finch is about.
Neither do I.
On a post-apocalyptic Earth, a robot built to protect the life of his creator's beloved dog learns about life, love, friendship, and what it means to be human.
Okay.
It's very strange that
At least it's
he's in
not
this
Cloud
movie.
Atlas.
Yeah, that was.
Can't believe we stopped.
We stopped the stream right now if he dies on that plane. We all cheered when he blew up too. That was hilarious.
We're like, yeah.
Yeah, we should go back and listen to that part. All right, Sully it is next week.
All right,
All
Sully,
right.
Sully.
All right, see you guys. I'm supposed to read this every time and I always forget. Thank you for listening to the Iron Coop Bites movies. Please be sure to subscribe and review so that we can spread the show around. You can reach us at theironcoop@gmail.com. Join us for another edition of the Iron Coop Bites movies.